Today we are property developers out to build an empire in the midst of a citywide property boom as we take a look at Magnate, the first city. Snap up land, build, attract tenants and start earning the big bucks. But watch out, that city will grow, more opportunities open up, but at some point that market boom will turn to bust in the endgame market crash. Now this is medium complexity, plays 1 to 5, takes about 90 to 120 minutes, and we can see the designer and publisher. So let's go and make our fortunes. Welcome to Humbleberg, it's known as, and we have opportunities as property developers to make some money. Now you've got the city centre here, we've got 6 neighbourhoods here, and we are going to be buying land. We're going to be developing these properties, attaining tenants and having rental income and selling at the right time. And you've got this property market as well. We're going to be going through this. There's going to be a crash imminent at some point, and you can see the price of land is going to go up. You've got the round tracker here, which is really useful. So what are we doing then? Each player has got one of these to hide their money. We've got Greyfield, we've got Penforth, we've got a 2-player kind of setup. We're kind of mid-game here. You're going to have some money, you're going to have these development tokens to place out to showcase where your properties are. So to begin with then, the first player is going to start the bidding to attain first player. So they go 100,000, the next player's up, the next player, you can pass, and whoever has made the highest bid going clockwise will then become the starting player. And you can see it all nicely on here. We've got turn order. Next up, we are attracting tenants. So you might have built some of these properties on previous rounds, and now you need to attract tenants. So let's say, for example, this location here, this particular player, Greyfield, has acquired that, but they need to get tenants. So they start with this particular location, and once you've done that, you move on to one of your other locations that need to attract tenants. Maybe you were unsuccessful at attracting tenants on a previous round and you've still got capacity to do so. So you can see each various building in the game. You've got houses, apartments, they've got a range of capacity. So this particular retail unit will have up to 2 tenants. So how are you going to determine that then? So we can see we're looking at retail here. It depends on how many populace are in homes nearby, and when we roll dice we're going to need pairs of 5s. So we're looking at this location. We've got an adjacent neighbourhood there, here and here. We're going to ignore those 3, and we've got the one it's on as well. So we're looking at how much we have in populace of residency. There's no one actually in this home here yet, and which is why you maybe want to go last in the turn order. You're waiting for everyone else to be attracting tenants, so then you can make the most of that. So we can see there's these 2 green buildings, apartments, and we've got 3 of those little symbols just here, which means we've got a total of 6, which means we can roll the 6 dice. Now before we roll, are we going to predetermine some of the outcomes by using these advertisement tokens? Now you start the game with 4, you can use an actual action to acquire these, which I'll go through, but let's say you want to commit 2 of those. It means when you roll this, 2 of these can automatically turn to 5s, which is great because you've got 2 tenants you're trying to attract. And if you get a bad roll, you're definitely going to need them. Now, I should add that you're looking at some bonus symbols next to your location. And this one here is actually, matches the same symbol. It's a commercial bump up because you've got a car park there. Actually going to influence the dice outcomes with an increase of 1 pip per dice. So these would actually be, 7s and 6s and 4s there. So we've easily hit. We've spent these 2 to attain 1 tenant, and we've spent these 2 to attain another tenant. Now be mindful that some locations, if you're trying to build a house, a residency next to an airport, is actually -1 per pip there. You can see over here, building next to this storage location. For residency at least, it's going to be -1 on all those pips. And equally, when you come to sell those properties, it's going to influence that as well. So we've managed to attract 2 tenants. We can see there's actually some tenants available, which is why bidding for turn order is important, because if your other players are attaining these tenants and there's none left here, you ain't going to attract the tenants, and you need those tenants because you're going to get rental income of 300k here. Now, this version setup is the base game. You should be using, with my recommendation, the advanced game. And you can see on the opposite side, you've got restaurants, you've got convenience stores, you've got professional couples, families. You can see the income differs, there's more symbols. So definitely recommended using the advanced version, but just for this video, I've kept things simple. So they've acquired these 2 tenants there. These guys then go and look at another location. They've got an unoccupied building, and they try and roll the dice again, determine where how many number of dice. They use these advertising tokens if they've got any, and then they attract more tenants. Once they have done all of their locations, they're going to get paid rental income. So you look at those locations, you add up these values, which is 600k, and they've attained some income. You then go clockwise, then next player does the same. Let's say this one over here. They've already got one professional couple there. Well, I'll turn it over. We've got one home, and that can be up to a capacity for an apartment building of 5. So they can have 4 more tenants there. So they're going to roll the dice. Now, this particular property, you can see, is determined by commercial and offices, the lowest of the 2, and you're going to need a pair 5. So this location has no offices or commercial, which is retail. There's nothing on this adjacent one, nothing on there, but there is on this one. So we can see the retail has 4 populace and the blue has 6. The lowest is 4, which means they're going to be rolling 4 dice. Now, they do have homes next to them, which means their dice outcomes are going to be +1, +2 in this case, because there's 2 unique locations with those bonuses. So we're going to roll these 4. Let's just assume we had no advertisement tokens. Now, clearly, we've got 4 tenants we want to attain, and we can only, we've only got 4 dice, so we could, even with the best of rolls, attract 2 tenants. Because essentially, thematically speaking, we've built an apartment. We've not a lot around it. We've got a park, yeah, we've got a forest, but they want more. They want more commercial activity, and there's only these in the city centre. So once opponents start building, these nearby, it's going to, and they have actual tenants, it's going to increase the number of dice we have, and then we can have more tenants attracted there. So you'd roll these. We've had a shocking dice outcome, but we also have that +2. That would then be a 6. That would be a 5. So we could attract 1 more tenant there. And then they would get their income, their rental income done. You then move over to actions here. So first action, you're going to have 3 actions. Starting player goes first. What can they do? Maybe they want to buy some land. So you can see these for sale symbols. They want to buy this one, and it's going to cost them the current land price of 500,000. They purchase that, put their token, done. Next player goes. Now, if someone wanted to buy a land plot that's not actually got a for sale sign on, you can. It just needs to be adjacent to something you already have one of your development tokens. So if we want to buy this, we're desperate to buy this plot of land, you can buy it because it hasn't got a for sale sign, but it's going to cost double the current land price. So 1 million to purchase that and put one of our tokens on there. Done. Second action then, what else can you do? You can buy, or you can take 2 of these advertisement tokens at no cost. If you want to take more, it's going to cost you 500,000 for each one, and that is an action. Done. You might want to actually build something. So maybe you've acquired this land and you can go and build a host of things. You've got, all these lovely miniatures here. But in terms of what we actually have available, you can see we've got houses, apartments, small office buildings, superior office blocks, and a load of goodness with all the costs, and it reminds you of the tenant capacity as well. So that is building. Now you can take some of these blueprints as well. They're kind of nice to sort of turn over and just nice thematically sort of fitting with the backgrounds there. We can consult, which is where we're generating money, because you might not be getting as much rental income as you want, or you're struggling. So you literally look at the current land price, you take 500,000 in that case, just to consult. And finally, which is the bulk of the game, is selling. So maybe, you own this retail unit here and your time has come to sell out because you need more funds. And that's the bulk of this game. Yes, you can attain loads of money by having this rental income, but at some point it's worth more. Now, how are you going to sell this property then? So firstly, and there's a really nice reference guide to this as well, which I'll just quickly show you. It's going to be the plot value is determined by number 1 for the land, the building itself, any adjacent bonuses, and then the number of actual symbols on your plot of land, and be mindful of negatives in the area. If you're built next to this airport, you might be getting 1 if it's a residence. So this location here then, we've got 1 for the land, we've got 2 because of the building, we have 2 little people symbols, so that's bumped up from 2 to 4 then. And we've got this little symbol here, which means we've got a multiplier of 5. Now, it's only based on your neighbourhood. You can't go, using ones that are adjacent in a different neighbourhood. So 5 times the current land price of 500k means we're getting 2.5 million for this property. Excellent. Which means we can reinvest that in other locations and land and other buildings. So we leave the structure there, we leave the tenants there, we just take our development token out and we take the money and keep it hidden in here. Next player goes. So you do your 3 actions. And that was literally it. Buying land, building, advertising, consulting, and selling. Now, I should add, you can actually overbuild something. So let's say, you built a house over here. You could go and build an apartment on there. You just get rid of the old one and you pay the new price of that. If the tenants were the same, they match this one. It's a professional couple or a family. They stay there. If not, they go back. Once everyone's done their actions, we go over to this property market. And this doesn't take place in the first round, but what you're going to do, remaining tenants. So as these get scarce, you're going to determine if they're all there, you're not revealing any of these risk cards, which I'm just going to go and grab a bunch. You can see this is the risk of the market. Now, let's say this was the case in a 2-player game. There's 2 of these have been left empty. It means we're going to reveal 2 of these. So we flip them over and there's a host zeros. We get those the right order, zeros, you got -1s and a couple of -3s. So, secretly we've revealed a -2. You start off on the S there for start, you go down 2. We are then going to reveal 2 in this case, so we're going to reveal another one. So you can see as more of these tenants have been put out into the locations, the more cards that can come into play. Number 2, the land price. So we're in the green zone at the moment. We're not revealing any of these cards. But as the price goes up, we're going to be revealing more. Number 3. As advertisement tokens get spent, you can see it determines, either price increases, nothing happens, or maybe cards get revealed. Now, when players sell, I should have added earlier, you move your actual development token to this board here. And depending on how many you've sold, if this was the state of play, the land price is going to go up to, and then you remove these. So you can see all these are impacting the land price and the crash track. And eventually, this is going to get to 0 and it will trigger the end of the game. But before we get to that, you are finished a round after the property market. You're prepping for the next round. So you're going to take some of these new tenant cards. There's a whole deck. You reveal 2 in this case, and you can see it's going to instruct you to add more tenants to the top of the board. And you can see in the advanced game, it's specific tiles, so a warehouse rather than just basic industry. So you reveal those. You're then going to bring out some more for sale signs. So this is rather fun. You reveal these. So we've got 5E. That's 5 here. We put that there. So new plots of land to buy. 4I, which is over here. We've got 5D, which is equally over here. Now, if it ever is the case that one of these spots has already got pre-built, it's kind of reminding you there you can't place one of these on there because they can't be bought. These are just sort of areas that influence your prices and how many tenants you can attract and all sorts. So yeah, we have prepped for the next round. You go back around and you keep going. You're bidding for turn order. This hands over to whoever paid the highest. You attract those tenants based on areas that have capacity still, and you do the actions, and eventually you are going to crash the market. Now, when that happens, the game has ended. All of these risk cards that you have revealed at the bottom, you're going to tally up all these numbers. So what have we got here? We've got 2, 3, 4, and you will drop the market by that number. So where we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be a bigger number normally. It's going to be down here somewhere. Now, you then have the chance to sell out any remaining properties at this new lower land price. You still do the multipliers, but you've missed out. If you haven't sold in time at, say, 1.7 million, you're all the way down here. You have lost a lot of money as a property developer. It's all about when to sell at the right time and how to get the rental income to keep your funds, liquid as such. And whoever has their most money at the end is the winner. There we are. Enjoy.